And we are on. Hey, everybody. My name is Dee Corchin. I am thrilled that you are here. We've got our combination of clients and coaches. This is a call that is just for you that we are currently offering once a month, that we do it on the first Monday of the month. So it's April 1st. And here we are. And I'm glad to see so many coming in from all over the country. And we just decided to bring this format together because we've got our community. We know that community is such an important part of our journey. So thank you for being a part of it. We are here to support each other, and our Facebook group, we do an incredible job connecting, but there is just a lot better when we can be face to face. And then we feel like if we can bring a voice to some of the things that we talk about, and you can hear from your peers, people that are on the same journey as you, maybe they're just a few steps ahead, that those tips and that education will just help you move forward. And then together we can all move forward. And one topic that we just get so many questions about, and I know that I was certainly curious about when I started this journey as a client and a coach, which was almost 8 years ago, is yes, we've got this phenomenal weight loss plan, the 5-in-1. I mean, it's proven. If you've lost some weight on the program, give me a little wave. And if you would, drop it in the comments how much weight you've lost on the program so far. We can just start running a tally to see what that looks like. I think that number is going to be incredible. But there's going to come a point you're going to reach your goals, and then it's going to be time to transition. And then what does life look like after this? So I want to take this opportunity. I personally have lost my weight. It'll be 8 years later this month that I lost my weight. Not only have I sustained that weight, but I've actually dropped more. And by setting some other health goals around body fat composition, have actually improved my health even more over that 8-year period. So just wanted to let you know my story. So just as one example of what's possible. And Julie, are you there? I don't see your picture now, but Julie Apple is a real experienced coach on our team. I'll let her share her story, and then Julie, you can kind of walk us through logistically and give us a picture of what the future looks like.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey guys. Thanks, Dee. So what I think every single client always says to me that they are scared to death, and even Georgie posted in our client page today that it's kind of a scary feeling. You can put that in our chat if you've been scared or thought about transition and kind of get a little nervous about leaving the 5-in-1 structure bubble. But I think my biggest encouragement, and I'm a personal trainer myself, and I've coached with the program as the tool for my clients for about 4 years now. And I started following the program myself about a year and a half ago. In January, I decided I wanted to do 5-in-1 and experience fat burn. And so I jumped on plan and followed for about a month, and I lost 10 pounds and about 4% body fat. So I saw what could happen really quickly just following 5-in-1. And then for a month, I did transition last February. And then pretty much all last year, I maintained doing 3-in-3 until October. And then I decided to do 4-in-2 because I wanted to lean out a little bit more. So I've used all different forms of the program at all different seasons in my life. I lost about like 8 more pounds doing 4-in-2 at the end of 2018. And so now I just continue with 3-in-3. And so something that I always explain to clients that hopefully will help you guys is there is the same 6 slots every single day. So whether you're doing 5-in-1 and 5 of them are fuelings, one of them's lean and green, there's always 6 slots during the day, and you have to think about how you're filling those. So with transition, week by week, it's a 4-week process, and your coach is the best resource for you. Some of our clients shift from like 5-in-1 to 4-in-2 to 3-in-3. But if you follow the structure of our Optavia guide, it's on page, I think it's 23. It walks you through week by week, adding extra starchy veggies, adding fruit the second week, taking out a fueling. And then each week you add another food group, dairy, grains. And then by the end, you're at 3-in-3, which is 3 small meals that you make yourself and 3 fuelings. So then you have 6 slots that you're filling still. So I always encourage people to keep it really simple, because if you try to sorry, Dee, I just saw your message. If you try to get it too complicated, it gets overwhelming when you think about it. So I made this little cheat sheet. It's probably going to be backwards. I wonder if I do it this way, y'all can see maybe my my marker. But some of the things that I wrote in here, you can see there are 6 slots right here. So if you think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're just having to fill those with either your own food or a fueling. So keep it really simple. And the program teaches us what's protein, fruits and veggies, how to fill those each meal. So the 3 keys that I wrote down on here are eating 6 times a day, eating every 2 to 3 hours. That's probably the first principle that I always teach clients, is making sure you're still eating every 2 to 3 hours. The other one is drinking your water and then staying active. So I tell people, I'm like, you will stay successful on plan or in transition and in maintenance if you keep to those, pretty much those 3 basics. Can you not see it? Dee? Are you still there? Can somebody pipe in and say if it's backwards or forwards?
It's just a little bit of a glare on it. I can't see it.
Okay, you can't really see it.
Share it, yeah. But we can
Julie, turn it around, Julie. It's backwards.
Is it backwards? Okay.
That's good right there.
Now y'all can see it?
Perfect.
Okay, so I just drew it out really in my simple head. I was telling Dee earlier, I just draw this out and I help clients see that you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots during the day, spacing them every 2 to 3 hours. You're either doing a fueling or your own food. So if you can keep it that simple, like it could just be that you have a couple of hard-boiled eggs for breakfast instead of your Optavia oatmeal once you're through transition. Then your next snack could be like some almonds and a piece of fruit. And then at lunchtime, you could have a small salad and some protein. And then your afternoon snack, you might do a fueling of the like cinnamon, like crunchers, let's say. And then for dinner, you might do protein and veggies. And then after dinner, like me, I still do my brownie every day. So I only end up having maybe 2 fuelings in a day. Some days it's 3, but I always make sure to get those 6 spots filled. So hopefully that helps you guys understand it just a little bit bigger. It is kind of taking a leap because 5 and 1 is so simple. I know a lot of people are scared to take that leap, but it really is freeing when you know how to put the puzzle together and you're able to keep the same habits. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. Dee, does that answer some of the questions?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm going to tell you as an individual, if you're on the 5 and 1 now, that, I mean, we didn't want to spend the time to say like, okay, week 1, you're going to do this, week 2 of transition. I would say if you have trusted the process, like, you know, this plan was developed, you know, it was clinically studied. Like, if you have trusted the process, just trust that your coach, that we will guide you through the transition period and then the maintenance. It is important, if you haven't been doing it, is to be a part of like the weekly Habits of Health webinars. We've done several of them on transition, and also chapters 8 through 12 in Dr. A's Habits of Health book has all the information about, once you're eating grocery store foods, what's low glycemic. If you're going to eat fruit, what's the better option of that? And so that information is all available to you. So you have it right there at your fingertips. But we just thought we would let you know that and share some real life stories of individuals. And I think, Julie, you made a really good point even about yourself, that you were setting some new goals. So, right. So you tailored the plan because you were constantly moving forward towards a new goal. I think a question that's probably on most people's mind is, where does wine fit in? Where's the food group of wine fit in? Or, you know, or something of that nature. So something that's not necessarily what we would think of in terms of a plan. Are
you asking me that, Dee?
I am.
How does wine fit in?
Yeah, or well, if you have a sweet or a piece of pizza, you know, that's not cauliflower pizza. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's okay. So that's probably the biggest thing that and all my clients and friends will tell you, I am such a fan of balance. And the way I live my life now is I just enjoy the weekends and I'm tight during the week. So I keep to pretty much structure every day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday within moderation and reason. I have what I want because I know the rest of the week I'll be just fine. So it gives me freedom to enjoy the weekend. So that's how I've chosen to find the balance. So like if it's Saturday night, I may have a glass of wine with friends, or I may have a mixed drink. I probably limit things to one, which may be harder for others, but I find that the balance is what's so key for long term, because if you always are saying no, at some point you're just going to break and it's too hard. So there's freedom in being able to have that balance is the way I look at it.
Exactly. And I think that if we always think about it, it can't go back to what it always used to look like for you, because lots of people will think, well, I just want to go back to what I used to eat. And if we go back to what we used to eat, it will look like it used to look, right? And what brought you to Optavia. But it might be that, like Julie said, you have one cocktail, or you choose a lower sugar cocktail, or, you have one piece of pizza and a side salad with it. So it will just look different. There wasn't just a question, Julie, if you can take that real quick before we go to our stories. The question was whether or not can we do it all with our own foods, our own grocery store foods when we get to maintenance?
Oh, that's a good question. So the way I always explain that to clients, and the way I think about it for myself, is what's going to keep you eating 6 times a day? That's probably where I would start. And if you're able to prepare 6 meals a day and keep up with that routine, then I would say go for it. Have your own snacks and food. I find for myself that it's extremely difficult to have 6 snacks and meals ready to go. So I've chosen that 2 or 3 fuelings a day keeps me from skipping meals. So I always encourage, think backwards and figure out how you're going to fill those 6 slots. And if you can do it all on your own and you stay successful, then keep on rocking. But if you're going to struggle to fill those and you're going to skip meals, that's going to ruin your your maintenance. So I would say then just lean into the fuelings and have a couple of those every day.
Yeah, that's exactly the truth, is that we have all the information, and that is ideal if you want to do it all with on your own. But the reality is the 2 challenges we're going to face are going to be time and convenience. And so if you're going to, I see your question, Gina, I'll address that too, is whether or not you're going to have the time to prepare it. The other thing is your coach will help you calculate what is going to be your daily caloric need. And for most of us, that is way lower than what we think it's going to be.
Exactly.
So to be trying to eat 6 times a day with all different foods, it can be hard to keep it in the caloric range. So like I personally like the fuelings because it's very, very high nutrition for very low calorie. So for me to try to maintain anywhere from like 14 to 1500 calories in 6 times a day, if I do the fuelings as my in-betweens, then that leaves me about, 300 or 400 calories I can do for my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so Gina, that would answer your question. We have the Optimal Health line, which is designed for maintenance. Those products are a little bit higher calorie in the 200 calorie range. That is just going to depend on you as an individual and what your caloric need is. And can you accommodate those calories? A large male can definitely do it. A petite female may not be able to. So, and those optimal bars, you can also cut them in half too. They're really yummy. So, all right, Maddie, I see that you are on here. Could you unmute yourself? You have lost your weight. We'd love to hear your story and how you are maintaining. You're a client of Julie's.
Hey, girl. She's also my cousin.
Oh, okay. I'm going to unmute you, Maddie. I'll do it, okay? Hang on.
I didn't know how
There
to
you go.
unmute. There you go. Okay. So
Maddie, do you want to just start by sharing like a couple, like your journey?
Oh, sure. I'm not. I guess. So it's almost been 2 years since I started the program, I think. So after like going into transitioning, I've just been staying active and like keeping goals, because goals help me to stay on the path. So like I started CrossFit almost a year. It'll be a year in April, and that's helped me a lot to stay on the path and to try to be healthy, like continue with my feelings and eating properly, because if I don't eat properly, then I don't perform properly. So that's been helpful. And the CrossFit community is pretty good on like making sure we keep our nutrition in line. We have like nutrition seminars on a monthly basis. So
I might echo Maddie, but what does your day look like right now?
for like
Your average day.
food, or
What's your what you're eating?
I usually start out with like 2 hard-boiled eggs, sometimes like a piece of toast or something with it. And then about 2 to 3 hours, I'll eat like a fueling or a snack, depending on what I've packed. And then I'll have lunch, which is usually like a lean and green at lunch. And then after lunch, I'll have another snack before I leave to work out. And then I'll go home and eat dinner. And then I usually have like a protein shake before like after dinner. But it's about, I think, typical.
That's awesome. What tell everybody about like your body fat goals and what the specifics of that, like what we were talking about the past few days.
Oh yeah, so like, well, it's gone up a little bit, but so like my new goal is to like get it back down to like athletic range, because I think now I'm like, what was it, average range? So I really want to focus in on that and like really, I guess, watch more of what I eat, because I've probably gotten a little bit more fat in my diet than I needed to when I'm on the go. But so I'm gonna try to like hone in on that and really watch my macros and log it into my FitnessPal, because that helps me keep track of what I've been eating. And when I don't do that, I kind of fall off.
Yep. I think somebody asked about how much weight you've lost, Maddie, and we had said I think it was about 25 originally, right?
I think so originally, yeah.
And then as Maddie's continued in maintenance, now we looked back at where she's at, and 2 years out, I think you maybe have gained just a few pounds back, we noticed, but we were saying a lot of that has come from muscle, from doing workouts, because her body fat's continued to drop, right?
Yeah, like I've definitely gained more muscle because, well, I can tell like in my clothes, they're not really like fitting tight from like not being able to like button or like fit. They're more like tight in certain areas, like my legs are getting a little more muscular, so those don't fit as well like my pants. But and then also I can tell because like I can do stuff that I couldn't do a couple of years ago. Like I can do a pull-up now, I can do like handstand walks and stuff like that I couldn't do before. So
that is awesome. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of perspective. Thanks for sharing, Maddie, about how to continue to stay successful, because Maddie's been awesome at continuing to set goals, and we've stayed in touch, and she'll send me her videos of the fitness, the exercise things she can do, but also how she's keeping routine with her food. So hopefully that gives you guys a good perspective of long-term success.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Maddie, for taking time. I know she just came out of your class to share with us. And I think the big takeaways to listen, she's still eating 6 times a day. She's still in touch with her coach, and she's setting new goals. And so that's always what we talk about. You know, what we vote to continue success, we have to do what brought us success, right? Like that's with any area of your life. So I want to introduce you to Frank. Frank, he is a client and a coach, decided to take that next step into coaching for accountability. So Frank, I'm going to let you, Frank Davis, go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, so thank you, Dee. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, okay. So I'm Frank, and I actually have the luxury of having my personal coach be my wife, Shauna. So, you know, she came on this on board and lost 87 pounds, and she is somewhere on the screen. And I lost 60 pounds, but she started before I did, and I just kind of watched and waited, and then I came on board. And prior to coming on board, I was on high blood pressure medication. I was on high cholesterol, and I was fairly new type 2 diabetic, and I was taking medication for diabetes as well. And I was monitoring my sugar every day. And despite the medications, my sugar was somewhat, it was out of control. So I really wasn't looking for anything to make a change, but when Shauna came on board, after some gentle prodding on her behalf, I made a change. I lost 60 pounds, and I started off with a 5-in-1 plan, but that didn't work too good for me because of my diabetes and just because of how whiny I was with the food. So I went to what we call like a modified 4-in-2 plan. And I lost all my weight on the 4-in-2 with no exercise. And I work in surgery, and I travel a lot for my job. So right now, even though we live in Kentucky, right now I'm in a hotel room in Virginia. So I go to places and kind of help them out on a temporary basis. So my schedule is not always really conducive to that 4 and 2. Sometimes I only have a second in between cases or after a long day just to run to my locker and grab a quick bar. I eat it in 2 or 3 bites and a gulp of water. So I don't always get a true meal in every time I want, but I make it work. As a result of losing all my weight, I was able to come off all my high blood pressure medication, all my cholesterol medication, and all my diabetes medication, reversed my type 2 diabetes, all that with the blessing of my family doctor. So now I'm medication free. The end of April will mark 7 months since I've been in maintenance. So I went from transition to maintenance, and I still kind of do a modified 4 and 2 for a lot of reasons because of my schedule, my work schedule. I'm on the go, travel a lot, and it's just easier for me to kind of pack bars or pack fuelings in my suitcase, or pop something in the microwave. I rely on Shauna a lot for my knowledge. If I'm in the hospital, I'll walk into the cafeteria and say, what do I need to get? So I'll call her. She'll say, get some grilled chicken and look for this vegetable, look for that vegetable. So I rely on her. Probably what's helped me more than anything else, probably the number one thing as far as being accountable to my health and my weight, is becoming a coach. So Shauna started being a coach first, and I kind of watched her again be a coach, and then I finally came on board. But number one, that allows me to be accountable to my own personal health, and because I know that it's really big on my heart to help people. I'm in healthcare, so I like helping people, and so I like helping people lose weight as well. But by being accountable to my health, I know people are looking at me and they're watching me, and if I fail, I'm failing on them. So I have to be accountable to them, not for me. Yes, part of it's for me, but it's a lot for the people I'm helping. And I can't fail on people. I've already told them I'm going to help them. I just can't do it. So there's a lot of benefits to coaching. That's just one part of it. A lot of great benefits to coaching, but that's just one of them, helping people and staying accountable.
That is so powerful, Frank. You and Shauna are really, such great examples. I think Beth added it up. There's over 1,000 pounds lost, but I think between you and Shauna, you're like a tenth of that. So just the two of you. So that really shows the power of kind of building your support system around you. And then you've continued your habits, right? I love how the fuelings are so convenient. And then the other thing you modeled was when we step into that role of helping somebody else, how it really helps us. And, they've done studies that show that we're actually 5 times more successful. So I also love that you're modeling, like, even though you have a busy schedule, I know you often don't know when you're going to go into surgery or not, you're in a hotel, but yet you're fitting coaching into that as well. So probably one of the busiest people I know, but you make it work. Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And have one more story that we want to share with you. I see you, Adele. Can you unmute yourself?
All right.
There you
are. We ready to go?
We want to hear your story. And what does your maintenance look like?
Well, thank you for asking me to share my story. It's always just a great joy for me to do that. I have been on maintenance for 6 months. I lost 35 pounds and then have maintained that loss now, like I said, 6 months. I have hyperlipidemia and have been diagnosed that for almost 20 years. But I was on the highest amount of statin that I could take. And my blood work every 6 months was just getting worse every 6 months. So right after I lost all of the weight, my lab work was the best it had been for 20 years. They took me off half of my statin, and I'm going in next week, and hopefully I'll even get off more statin, if not altogether. But I had been experiencing a lot of back pain, and I just was saying that it was my arthritis. And since losing the weight, I can entertain all day long, clean up the dishes at night, which I do often. We have a lot of church groups and things in our home. And the first time it happened at the end of the night, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not in pain. And so that's really great. And the other thing is my precious, precious grandchild, Rosalie, I can chase her around all day and lift her. She weighs 35 pounds, as much as I've lost. And I'm never in pain. And it's just like, to me, it's just, I literally feel like I'm over 20 years younger. And I feel as young as I did when I was carrying Lauren around. Lauren Yeomans is my daughter. And so that's just amazing. And how my typical day looks like now is I am on the 3 and 3 just because I absolutely love the fuelings. I could be 5 and 1 and be happy for the rest of my life. But I'm 3 and 3. I cook lean and greens every night because my husband's on the plan. He's lost 26 pounds. And he's a busy surgeon, so he and Frank have similar story. But, and I now am back to swimming with my master swim team. So I'm swimming with people 40 years younger than me, 30 years younger than me. And I feel like I'm just able to slice through that water. It's just so exciting not carrying that 35 pounds. And I also now am on a weightlifting program because I do have bone loss. I'm in early stages of osteoporosis. So I am doing that 6 days a week, free weights. I'm walking my dog every day, and I'm actually getting back on the bike because I'm a triathlete and I hope to get back to racing, which is what I really love. So, so I'm doing what I, I just feel like I feel like I'm 20 something again, and I'm 61. It's just unbelievable what Optavia has done for me. As far as coaching, I feel like there are 3 things that have been my coaches. The first one is being a coach is I love it so much. I love helping people. I love having people get off meds and feeling young. Also, I think the Eat, Live, Be Optavia and the Opt for Change are just, I use them. What a fabulous thing that we have at our fingertips to help us. It's just so awesome. And then I think really, truly, honestly, the best coach for me is remembering. So like today, I had to go get the water softener and I had to carry it all into the basement. They're 40-pound bags. And I'd lift each bag, and as I'm walking down the stairs, I'm thinking, this is about what I've lost. My knees are killing me right now trying to carry this down the stairs. Or when I go buy the dog food, that's 35 pounds. And I'm thinking, wow, this is what I've lost. My body is thanking me. And then just seeing old pictures, just remembering what life was like before my 35 pounds gone. And that is my own personal best coach. And anyway, thank you for asking me to share.
Oh my gosh. Can we give a wave to all these people that have these great stories? This was so good. I got goosebumps. Adele, I mean, you modeled so much about why this is working for you. That you went through the transition plan. You have a structure to your day. You have new goals. You're exercising. You're staying connected to the community. You're helping others. And so you've just created this cocoon around you. But I hope everybody remembers what she said about, remembering where you don't want to go back to. Sometimes we can forget, and that can impact our choices. So thank you to everybody that showed us what's possible. Thank you to Julie for laying this out for us. She will post that sheet for us in our Eat, Live, and Be Optavia group. Thank you to Maddie, to Frank, to Adele for sharing your stories. We are going to roll right over to our coach call next. On the first Monday of each month, we celebrate our coaches who are being recognized for their success in helping people on their journey. So we welcome you, if you're a client, just to stay on, if you just want to take a peek into our world and listen to what we love about helping other people. So I'm just going to pause this recording, and then I'll start it up for the coach version.